Started.
Hello, and welcome to Intro to Audio's midterm. I am going to show you how to put together a sound system. Now, I have all of the elements that you need to produce sound. So, what I have is an input, which would be, of course, a microphone. We're going to use an XLR, just regular microphone, not a phantom. So, no power is required for this one. It uses an internal condenser to go ahead and kind of receive it. I also have an XLR cable, which then uses the vibrations from this emit an electric frequency, which then gets sent through the cord to the soundboard via the other end of the XLR, which this one inputs here in channel 1. So when you put them together, you now have a connection from your input source through your XLR cable, which then inputs into the soundboard itself. Now, this soundboard has an onboard power system, so it doesn't need a secondary amp to be able to go to the speaker in order for it to be able to produce the sound. That's why it needs a power cable. We plug that in. Once you have that, then you can actually turn on a soundboard and it will receive signal from the input. This should be visible based on, if you'll see this board here, come close. You should be able to see that channel 1 is where we have it plugged in. Make sure your gain is around there. We turn up the volume, then we turn up the volume in the main mix, and then you should be able to talk and see it move in the main mix. Hello? 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 If it does not, don't worry. There is still a chance that it's making noise. You just can't hear it yet. So before we move any steps further, we're going to turn the volume back down. Because once you hook it to a speaker, it will start making noise immediately. So you want the volume to be at a very low level. Now, in order to produce the sound, it has to have sound come from the soundboard to your speaker source. Since we have an active speaker, one that includes a power source internally, we do not need an amplifier for this one. And so that speaker includes a power source. You can tell because it does have a power cable, which means that the passive device that we have here that would be sending the electricity through a signal, but not through power itself, does not need to be amplified because the speaker will be internally amplifying it, which is good because that means it will be at the maximum efficiency. So you don't have to worry about calibrating the amplifier and a separate speaker. So if you come and see here, whenever you are doing an output from the soundboard to a speaker, you want to use the left out, which is considered the mono out. And that will give you the opportunity to have the sound come directly out from here to the speaker. So next, we're going to turn off our soundboard so that we don't have power coming through and shocking us. We will use the power cable first to give it power, but do not turn it on. And then we will use the cable 1/4 inch, which is coming from there, from the back of the soundboard, to the input spot where it says line input, right there. Once you have that connected, you should be able to power on your speaker, but you'll do that second because you don't want to pop. First, soundboard, then speaker. Wait for it to power on. Make sure it does the little green light, which it does have that. Also check your levels. Okay? And now, with everything connected, you should be able to have noise come through. First, you turn up the main level, usually goes to unity. And then your line level, you start to slowly turn up until it makes noise, like so. And now, anybody you are speaking with or singing with can be heard by more than just the people right next to them. This is a sound system.